Hey, good day, everyone. Good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another data analysis session brought to you by UrBizEdge. So for today's session, we're having lookups in Excel. As you all know, UrBizEdge is a registered Excel consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analysis, and enterprise solution firm in Nigeria. We also specialize in helping companies and high-value professionals be on top of their business data. And also, we're the developer of some financial tools and also some Excel tools, such as the Nigerian Finance Market Analysis tool, which can find in Microsoft Store. We're also a developer of the Nigerian Stock Analysis Dashboard and so many other dashboard and so many other tools. As you all know, we're also a training company in Lagos, Nigeria. We also have branches in Port Harcourt and Abuja. So for our upcoming training, which is on the 6th of February, which is tomorrow, we'll be having financial modeling, financial planning, and training. On the 17th of February, we're having introduction to SQL for data analysis. And also that same 17th of February, we're having in-depth Excel training, executive dashboard, and business data analysis. So I'll just give you a brief about myself. I'm a Microsoft certified data analyst with over 3 years of working experience. I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer who have passion in sharing knowledge, helping and mentoring young data analysts. I also build custom solutions in Microsoft. I enjoy creating educative content for UrBizEdge YouTube channel and other platforms. I enjoy writing, coding, and creating automation processes. So no further ado, I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll share my screen again. So if you came early, I actually shared in a group chat the material I'll be using today, right? So let me just open my Google Drive. I'll copy this link. So for everyone that is with us today, I'll paste this here. I'll give some of you might wonder, why am I the one here? So this person that was meant to speak today could not make it today. Is currently stuck in traffic. So I have to just take over for him today. So I'll paste it again. So this is the material I'll be using today. So you guys can just download it, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you different processes of using lookups. So we're going to be using the lookup. We're going to be using VLOOKUP. I'll show you how to use the HLOOKUP, the index and match, the XLOOKUP. I'll also show you some tricks and also some limitation of using the VLOOKUP, and also I can mix formulas together. So let's start. So I assume everyone can see my screen. Okay, so I'll give everyone like a couple of minutes. Can you try and download the file? So if you check your chat box, there's a Google Drive there, so you can just download the file there. So just give like 2 minutes so before we can start. Just check your chat box. You see a link I dropped for the Google Drive. So when you just open, you click on it, it opens a Google Drive for you. So that's all the things we'll be doing for today. So I think I'll start very soon, because we have so many things to cover today. Okay. Awesome. Okay, I guess I can start now. Okay. So I'll start by talking about lookups, right? So lookup, the default lookup is also part of the VLOOKUP, also part of the lookup family in Excel, right? The most popular one, which we all know, is called the VLOOKUP. We also have the HLOOKUP, also have the index and match. But there's one that actually also exists called the lookup. So we're going to be doing different tasks using the different formulas. So I'll start with lookup. So lookup has three functions, right? The first function is your lookup value, the lookup vector array, and also your return vector array. So let's take, for instance, and also mind you, by default, lookup is actually an approximate match. By default, it's an approximate match. Okay, so look at this now. I have income of $499, right? I want to know how much tax the person will pay. So this part now is the data table. Most times when you're doing VLOOKUP, you call it what? Your table array. So this part is the data table. Remember, by default, right? Lookup are approximate match, right? So unlike VLOOKUP that you have option of choosing to either the exact match or the approximate match. For by default, lookup is the approximate match. So if I say equals to, now look at this, I want to know how much tax this person that's earning 499 will be paying. If you look at this data here, right, 499 should be between the range of 0 to 499. So the person should be paying $50 tax, right? So I'll come here using the lookup function. I don't want to use VLOOKUP, I want to use lookup. I'll say equals to lookup, right? My lookup condition one is my lookup value. Okay, let me just press FX so you can see it better. Okay. Yeah, awesome. So if you look at this now, right? My condition one is my lookup value. Lookup value means what am I looking for? I'm looking for the income, which is what? 499, right? Condition two is my what? My table array. Or but most times for lookup now, it's called what? My lookup vector. My lookup vector is this entire array, which is my lookup array. Condition three now is my what? My results. So my answer array. I just come here and I select everything here, right? And mind you also, lookup, the default of lookup is a what? Is a what? It's an approximate match. So if I click on OK, I should be having what? $5, which is there. $5. You can see that 499 is between the range of what? 0 to $5, $500 here. So 0 to 499 is what? $5. If I change this now to like $600, I should be having 10. You can see I should be having 10. Unlike if I was using an exact match, you must get the exact value. But for this now, since I'm using a lookup, right? Lookup is just like an approximate. So the default is an approximate match. So it gives you a range of value. So I'll do another one again. You can also use lookup for vertical and also for horizontal. So we just did the horizontal. Let's now do the vertical one. So if I delete this, now you can see the income is what? 999, right? I say equals to lookup, right? Lookup value is what? 999, comma, right? Lookup vector. I'll select the entire array, which is going what in horizontal order, right? Of the income. And the result array, besides the result vector rather, the result vector is now going to be my answer array. Close my bracket, enter. You can see, right? So if I look up for 999, 999 should be between the what range of 500 to 1000. That's what $10. That's the tax the person is going to pay is $10. So let's see other example you can also use it for. If you look at this now, right? Another thing again about lookup is that the default of lookup is it always picks the last value. It always picks the last value. So if I don't want to use the return vector, I also use only the lookup value and also the lookup vector. So what I mean by that, if I say equals to lookup, right? My lookup value is what is this one here, right? Which is what the employee ID, comma, lookup vector. I select this entire data this time around. Let me select this entire data this time around. Right? Control Shift right, Control Shift down, and I close my brackets. Enter. You can see, right? It's going to pick the last value, which is over here. You can see, right? It's always going to pick the last value. That's if I don't put the return vector. If I just leave it as only the lookup value and also the lookup vector, it's only going to pick the last value. So most times, the way people use it, I don't always get the previous year or the day before. So let's go to the one that is most popular that everyone uses a lot. It's called the VLOOKUP. So let me just open my screen. Right? I hope everyone can still see me. Okay. So there's one we call the VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup, right? So if I'm looking for a value, if I'm looking for a data, let me just say, for instance, now let me open a new sheet. First of all, let me explain something. I'll remove all grid lines. Okay, awesome. So let's start now. So there's one we call the VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP is one of the most popular lookup, right? It basically means what? Vertical lookup, right? It has 4 conditions, right? It has 4 conditions. So if you look up, just basically, I'll try to look up value. Let's take, for instance, now I have a company's database, and I'm trying to get the employee, like for my company now, the database. I'm trying to get a particular employee, is date of birth or his age. With a VLOOKUP, I don't need to start scrolling over 1,000 or 1 million rows of data. With just the formula, I can just get so person ID number and also get the information about that person. So how does it work now? VLOOKUP has 4 conditions, right? I will explain all conditions. If you put your, as I say, equals to VLOOKUP, right? Condition one is your lookup value, right? Condition 2 usually is your table array. Condition 3 is usually your column index number. Why condition 3 is now your range. Most time we call it your logical statement, right? Is either your true or false, or people time we call it range. So I expect everything one after the other. So your lookup value, it's just basically the information, the person you're looking for, you're referencing. So I say, so like basically what you're looking for or referencing based on right? Condition 2 is my table array. So table array basically means the entire data table. So let's take, for instance, now I'm looking for Dayo, or let's say I'm looking for employee ID 22 UrB223, right? That UrB223 is inside the database, right? So now that table array, that's where the database is, the entire data itself, right? And condition 3, which is your column index number. So based on basically means your return array, or most time people call it your answer array. Your answer array. So most times, right, the column index number is now the column you are looking for, the answer. I'm looking for employee ID UrB223, right? That's what I'm looking for. But I want to know is city or his home address. His home address is another column. The other column that is now what your column index number stands for, right? That address of that person, what number is it? And the last one is your logical statement. We call it range value. So this one is broken down into two places. We have the true and we have the what? The false. So true stands for approximate match, or most times people represent it with the one icon, right? The one. And why false? False stands for exact match. So that's if you're looking for an exact value. So I can also represent it with 0. So let's now start. All right. So I'll go to my VLOOKUP with example. So I'm going to delete all of this now. Look at this now. I have different states in Nigeria, right? And I have each of those states their monthly revenue. So how am I going to go about it? Using the VLOOKUP to do it. I'll say equals to VLOOKUP, right? My lookup value, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what? This person here, which is what? Bonu. Remember, I'm looking for Bonu is revenue for the month of January, comma. The table array now is the entire data table. That data table, the table array is now the data source, the data base. You can see the data source is here, right? So I'll select the entire data source here. Can you see? I said, well, Control Shift right, Control Shift down, right? Comma. Column index number. I'm looking for Bonu for the month of what? January. So if you don't count the column index number, it's not going to be, because I'm looking for January. It's not B. It's column index number. So it's a number I'm looking for, right? So the number is what? Starting from the table array. My table array started from here. So that's state is 1, January is what? 2, and I put 2, comma. So now the last condition now is what? Am I looking for an approximate match? Am I looking for an exact match? Because I want an exact value, I put the what? The 0, close my bracket, and enter. And you can see, right? So if you look at, let me check now. Let me change this now to delta, right? So if you look at delta now is what? It is something million, right? You can see they're basically the same thing. Let me do one more again. Equals to VLOOKUP. Lookup value is what? The state over here, comma, table array, Control Shift right, Control Shift down, comma 2, comma 0, close my bracket, enter, right? Oh, sorry, this should be 3. This should be 3, not 2. Okay, I'm looking for what? I'm looking for February, rather. Okay, let me do the last one. Equals to VLOOKUP, lookup value, the state, comma, the table array, right? Comma, this time I should be what? 4, comma 0, close my bracket, enter, right? And the beautiful thing is that if I just take this 3, I can bring out a chart from this, right? I say the chart I brought out from this, right? This is just a simple column chart, and I can just be, and this is how VLOOKUP becomes more dynamic. I can just change this from here to like Ekiti State. You can see, right? The values will be shown. Let me make the data label come out so you can see it better. So the data label should be showing. Okay, awesome. I can say, okay, let me change the state to now to what? Kano State. You can see now it becomes more dynamic. So that's VLOOKUP in the same sheet. What about if the data now is in 2 multiple sheets? That's if it's in 2 different sheets. Let me delete all of this first of all. So I have this here, right? I also have my data here. So this is where the data is, and this is where what the values I'm looking for is. If you have any question, please drop it in the chat box or raise your hand. I will always get notified, right? Let me check. Please, no question. Okay, awesome. So let's take, for instance, now I can see the states here. Remember, this is where the data is, right? So this is where all the data is, right? All the states in Africa. And this is where, so I want to do VLOOKUP between 2 sheets. I say, okay, equals to VLOOKUP. My lookup value is what? Kenya. comma. My table array is what? This entire data table here. So I select the entire data table, right? Comma. I'm looking for column index number what? I'm looking for first quarter. The first quarter should be what? 1, 2. Quarter 1 is what? Start column 2. I put 2, close my bracket, 0, close my bracket, enter, right? Let me do it again. Equals to. I must say, if I want to be very fast, I can just come here. Since I know what is going to be changing, just the what? The column index number. I can just copy all of this here. Copy this, escape, come here, say equals to V. Not V. I change one here to what? 3. Come here again, paste, equals to, make it 4. Right? Come here again, paste, equals to, make it 5. This looks manual, right? I'll just show you a more dynamic way of going about it. This is just the introduction. Okay, so let me just create a data validation around it so my work can become more dynamic, right? So if I come here, right, it's okay. If I come here, I'll say data validation. I'll change to list. The source, I'll get the source from this data here. Control Shift down, enter, and okay, right? Awesome. So if I change now from Kenya to Libya, awesome. If I change again, you can see, right? The data now is becoming more dynamic and more interactive. So now you can also do VLOOKUP across sheets, right? And do VLOOKUP across what sheets. So how does that one work now? If I click on this now, right, it's going to open another sheet for me, right? I have another sheet with me here, right, which showing me the Forbes list, the top 1,000 digital company, right? So let's say I have something like this. Now, for VLOOKUP across workbook, both workbook must be what? Must be open. Both workbook must be what? Open, right? So if I say equals to VLOOKUP, lookup value is what? Is this one here, right? Comma. Table array is what? This entire, oh, sorry. Oh, made a mistake. Okay. Lookup value. Table array now is this, the next sheet now, this entire sheet here, right? Comma. Column index number should be what? The company I'm looking for is 2, 0, close my bracket, enter. Oh, okay, I'm looking for industry. Okay, industry. Okay, that should be 3. Oh, okay. I think I said a mistake. Equals to VLOOKUP. Lookup value is company, comma. Table array is this sheet over here. Select everything. I can start from the company over here also. Comma 2, 0. Close my bracket. Enter. Okay, awesome. And I can do it again. Equals to VLOOKUP. Lookup value is company, comma. Table array is this entire data table over here, comma 3, 0, close my bracket, enter. So that's how that one works. Now, as you can see, I can see the company, and if I want to get the quarter range, now I say equals to VLOOKUP one more time, lookup value, comma, table array is this entire data table from company, Control Shift right, Control Shift down, comma, column index number should now be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I say 4, close my bracket, and enter, right? So it gives you the value. That's how you do that. So now we'll be using 0, 0, which stands for exact match. What situation or what scenario now do you use the 1, which is approximate match? What scenario do you use the 1, which is an approximate match? So how does that one work? And if I select all of this, right? If I delete this, I say, look at this now. I have a score of different students, right? I have students 1, students up to students 25, right? And I have what they call scores. Yeah, these are the different scores, which is for that's basically different scores, right, for students. And I want to now start grading them the way you grade in university, right? It's okay. So you can see the legend over here, right? How does this legend work now? From 0 to 44 is what? An F. From 45 to 49 is an E. From 50 to 59 is a D. From 60 to 69 is a C. From 70 to 79 is a B. And from 80 above is an A. So then let's now do a situation, because we'll be using 0, 0, which stands for exact match. What situation now do we now use 1, which stands for approximate match. So this is a scenario where we use 1 for an approximate match now. So if I say equals to VLOOKUP, right? The lookup value, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this core here, right? Comma. The table array is entire data table, which is my legend basically. Comma. Column index number, I'm looking for the grade, right? So and grade from this is what? Column 2. Comma. Now I don't want an approximate match or an exact match. Since I want a range of value, I use what? The 1, which stands for what? Approximate match. And I close my bracket, enter. Right? So you can see 61. If I come here, you can see that 60 towards 69 is a C. That means it's actually correct. So watch this. Now if I drag down, I'm having an error in some places. Why am I having an error in some places? If I click on this now, you can see that the table now is incremented. That means when I drag down, the table is also what? Dragging down. So I have to do what? I have to lock the data table. That's a table array using a absolute reference. If I come back to the original formula, right? Let me just zoom my screen a little bit. From the original formula, I'll select the entire table array from here. That's from M3 to N9. And I press F4 on my keyboard. F4 on my keyboard. F4 stands for what? Absolute reference. That is, I'm basically locking it. So I press enter. So let me reduce the screen again and I drag down. And voila, all the answer is out. Okay, awesome. So let's go to HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP is also the same thing as VLOOKUP. The difference is that H stands for horizontal. So H is an horizontal lookup. And one thing, you know that when you're doing a VLOOKUP, you have the column index number. So for the HLOOKUP is called row index number. So how does it work now? So I'll come here, I'll delete this, right? Say equals to HLOOKUP. The lookup value now, let's assume now this data now we've already transposed, we've changed the positioning of the data, we've changed the whole structure of the data. So now my lookup value should be, I'm looking for the month of January for the state of what? Abia, right? So lookup value is what? January. Table array is now this entire data table, comma. The row index number this time around. It's not showing what column index now, it's showing what row index number. So how does the row index number works now? You can see that I'm looking for Abia, right? So Abia from this now is what? State is row 1, Abia is row 2. So I put what? Row 2, comma. I want an exact value, which is what? 0. Close my bracket, enter. Can you see? I'll do it also for Adamawa. I'll say equals to H lookup. The lookup value is what? This, comma, table array, this entire data table, comma. Remember, I'm looking for what? Adamawa. Adamawa is at what? Row number 3. 1, 2, 3. It's not row number 7. We're counting your column, your row index number from your table array. You're counting it from your table array. So now state is row 1, Abia is row 2, Adamawa is row 3. So I put 3 over there, comma, 0, close my bracket, enter. And that's how it works, right? Okay, so let's go to the one that's giving so many people a lot of issue, which is what's the what's the name again? The index and match. So I'll select all of this. I'll delete this. Right? Okay, awesome. Are you ready? So VLOOKUP has some limitation, right? The limitation of VLOOKUP is that it cannot if your lookup value is at this side, and what I'm looking for is behind my lookup value, VLOOKUP will not work. Let me show you what I mean. So if I say that, you can see that the CEO is there are different CEOs here, right? And I have a company here. So I say, okay, equals to, right? Equals to what? VLOOKUP. I want to know the company which this CEO is working for. The CEO is what? Billy Potter. You can say Billy Potter. The company is working for is AT&T, right? I say equals to lookup value is what? Billy Potter. Comma, table array is what? This entire data table, comma, column index number. I'm looking for what? The company, which is what? Column 1, close my bracket, sorry, comma, 0, close my bracket, enter. It's giving me none, which means not available. Why is that? Because what? The lookup value is what I'm looking for, which is my column index number, is behind my lookup value. So what people used to do before is that they take all of this, they copy it, they cut it, and they insert it in front of this. But I don't want to insert. So that's why when people start complaining about, oh, VLOOKUP has some limitation on this. So some people brought up what they call index and match. So index and match is just basically a combination of two formulas together. So how does that work? So I'll just explain what match is and what index is. So you use match to either get the row position or get the column position of the data. or come again. Use match to get either the row position or column position of a data. So how does that work? Now, so if I say equals to, right? Equals to match. Say match. Lookup value. Let's say, for instance, you can say this Billy Potter. I select Billy Potter, right? Lookup array. I select this entire array. It's because it's in the CEO column, right? Comma. I want an exact one, which is 0. Enter. So I want to get the row position of Billy Potter. If I start counting now, if I say, okay, let's see it. If I say equals to sequence, so if I say equals to count, let's count A of all of this, right? I'll use the sequence in front of it. I'll close my brackets. Okay, so let's check now. Where's Billy Potter? Now, if you look at Billy Potter, you can see Billy Potter is at what row number 6. I can see this is giving me what row number 6, right? So that's how one way you can easily get the row position of your data using the what using the match function. So the match function, you can easily get the row position and also the column position. So let's now use index and match. So I've gotten match, which is what I've gotten the row position, which is 6, using the match formula. So let's say I want to now use the index. I say equals to index, right? Condition 1 is my table array. That's the entire data table. I Control Shift right, Control Shift down, comma. You can see now the condition 2 now is my what? My row position. I know my row position for Billy Potter is what? Is 6. I select the 6, which I've already done here, comma. And what? The column number. I'm looking for the company name, right? So I put 1 here, close my brackets, enter. You can see AT and T, right? Let's see. Billy Potter is what? AT and T. But now, because now you can see the way I did this, I actually separated both formulas from each other. Let's now put both formulas together. Let's see how it works. So if I come here, I say equals to index, right? Condition 1 is my table array. I select the entire data table, comma. Condition 2 now is my what? My match function, right? The match function. I say match, because I don't get the row number. I'm going to use the match function. I say match, right? Match of what? The lookup value is what? Is Billy Potter, right? Comma. The lookup array is the array of where Billy Potter is. That's this entire CEO here. Control Shift down, comma. I want an exact match. I put 0. I close my brackets, comma. So you can see the next one is what? My column number. So whenever I see a square bracket in the formula, know that it is optional. So if you're doing any formula in Excel and you see the square bracket, know that just get it in your mind that it's actually optional. But for this now, I want to get the column number, which is what? The company number. I know the company column is what? Column 1. Close my brackets, enter, right? Okay. But this time around, I want to show you how you can also use the match of match. They can use the two match together. Say equals to index, table array, this entire data table, comma. Row number is that same match. I'll use that same match again. Match, lookup value is Billy Potter, right? Comma, lookup array is entire array here, comma, 0, right? Close my brackets. I'll put comma again. I want to get the column number, right? So I'll use match again. I'll say match. I'll use match again. Match. What am I looking for? I'm looking for what column am I looking for? Let's say first I'm looking for January basically. So let me just select January from here. Okay, January, comma. The lookup array is this entire column here, right? Comma. Close my bracket, that's 0. Close my bracket and close my bracket again. Enter. And you can see. Let's check it now. Let me change this now to something close. You can easily see. Let's say this Sean, right? This is Apple, right? And the amount for January, you can see is correct. So as I use match of match. And sometimes I can also change the whole positioning and everything. So let's go further again. Let's use if and VLOOKUP together. How does if and VLOOKUP works? So look at, I have two table array here. I have for alcohol, I also have for what? Energy drink, right? And for alcohol now, I also have for energy drink. So for alcohol now, you can see there are different commissions here. So look at this now. Okay. I have alcohol products. I also have the sales amount here. I want to know the commission. Remember, this alcohol is also what? Energy drink. This is the table for alcohol, this table for what? Energy drink, right? So let's say, for instance, I want to now use the if with VLOOKUP together. So one situation that if it is alcohol, take the table array from here. If it is energy drink, take the table array from what? From here. So how would I go about it? I'll say equals to. So I'll start with if statement because I'm doing a condition, right? I'll say equals to if what is here is equals to alcohol, right? I will have to lock it because I'll be using it's going to be constant. I don't know if I drag that, I don't have to be changing. So I'll say, right? What should happen? That's value if true. The value if true should not be what the VLOOKUP. I said the VLOOKUP of what? This entire data here, comma. Sorry. The VLOOKUP of the amount, comma, the entire table array should not be the entire data, comma, the column index number should be 2, comma, because this time I'll be having range of value because like I said, I'm having 7,000. Yeah, there's no value that's up to 7,000. I'll have to use an approximate match for this. Say close my bracket, comma, else again, that else if, you know that if statement has 3 conditions: logical test, value if true, and else, and value if false. So I'll say VLOOKUP again. The lookup value should be what again? Should be this, right? Comma. Table array should now be the energy drink, right? Comma. Column index number should be 2, comma. I want to approximate match. Close my bracket again, enter, right? So because I want to drag now, I have to log some values. I have to log the table array of this one by using the F4 key. I also have to log the table array of this one also using the F4 key for my keyboard. If the F4 key doesn't work, I also try Fn, that's pin F4, drag down, awesome. I can see this one is alcohol, right? Alcohol is at 7, so you can see from 6,000 above, you're paying 7%. So that's how that one works. So let's go to wildcards. So wildcard in Excel is actually sometimes, right? Wildcard in Excel is broken down into 3 formats. We have the asterisk, right? We have the question, which has the question sign. I also have the tilde, right? So there are 3 types. We have asterisk, tilde, and how it works. If I have a question mark before a formula, it means that there's one missing value. If I have 2 question mark, it means that's what there's 2 missing value. If I have 3 question mark, 3 missing value, right? So let's take for instance, now if I have a star, now look at, I have a star before TIO. Let me make my screen bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. If I have a star before TION, it means that what it must end with TION. If I have a alphabet before star, it means that it must start with C. Question mark and this, that means one missing value and it must start with. So there are different ways of actually using it. So let's go to the VLOOKUP. Let's use VLOOKUP with wildcards now. So I write all of this, right? So look at this now. I'm looking for product which is alcohol and what energy drink, right? And now the alcohol is not spelled correctly. I really R. I see I have what only R. So what I can do now, I can say okay, equals to, oh sorry, from here I say how to use a wildcard with VLOOKUP. So you can use wildcard with VLOOKUP, with find and replace, with search. Can use it with sum if, count if in Excel. So if I say equals to VLOOKUP, my lookup value is the product here. I now use the ampersand and, which means start for concatenate. I say ampersand and double quote star, double quote, close my bracket. Then the next one should be your table. I write this entire data table, comma, column index number should be 2, comma, 0, close my bracket, enter, right? Okay, awesome. If I drag down, some are not available because I've not logged this. Another trick you can also do is for this one here, right? Rather than me always locking it, I can always highlight these 2 values here. I click on enter. So if I drag down, it should work fine. Okay. So I guess there's no question so far. Okay, no question so far. So let's go to the next one, which is the count if and the count if and sum if. So count if and sum if using the wildcard also. So I'll delete all of this, right? I say I have different products of apple, strawberry, and the rest, right? So let's say I say equals to count if. I say count if. I want to use count if with a wildcard. The range, I will select the entire pie flavor, comma, the criteria now should be what is here and double quotes star double quotes, close my bracket. So what this means that it must start with whatever value. That means it must start with APP. If I drag down, it must start with BLU, chi, and the rest. So I click on enter, and I can also do a drag down. That's how that one works. Fine, right? I come here also again. I do the same thing for here. So I say equals to sum if. Nice time. I say sum if range is what? The entire value here, right? Comma. Criteria should be what? Now I say everything here using the wildcard also star double quotes. But what am I pressing? Yeah. %, and double quote star double quote, close my brackets, enter, right? Oh, okay. So I'm not done. I'm not done the sum if, so comma, then the sum if should not be what? Amount sold, enter. And you can do what? You can drag down. So that's how that one also works. So if I go to the next one again, you can also use VLOOKUP and match. This one is actually very interesting and very fun to use. I think I have 2 more to go. I can ask a question after. So if I write all of this, okay. Remember, right? I told you that how we use match it to get the row number and also the column number, right? If I say equals to VLOOKUP, right? My lookup value is what? Abia, comma, table array this entire data table here, Shay, comma, column index number. I can also use match to get the column number. The way you use match to get the row number, I can also use match to get the column number. So I say match lookup values. I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I'm looking for January here, right? Comma. The table lookup value should be everything from here down, comma, 0, close my bracket, comma. I want an exact match. I put 0, close my bracket, and enter, right? Awesome. So now I have to lock some parts in here. So I have to lock the lookup value of this, because if I start dragging it, I have to lock some part. I have to lock this. For the table array, I also have to lock the table array. F4. For my match, for this one here, I don't need to lock because I want it has to be moving, right? So I have to lock the lookup array for this one also here. Enter. Let's see. So if I drag now, I should get everything I want. Okay, awesome. Let's see. Awesome, cool. So it works. So if I change the values and it's working fine. So if I check, I got a chart from here, and let's see if this is working perfectly well. The data label, and let's just check. And I say, okay, let me change from here to this. Okay, I think it's working perfectly well. So you can see how that works, right? So let's do the last one. The last one is the VLOOKUP and columns. VLOOKUP and columns. How does VLOOKUP and column works now? So if I delete all of this, right? So there's a formula in Excel called column and columns. So if I say equals to columns, column, now I want to know the column number of this January. If I start from year to year, that's for January. If I place my bracket, enter, you see there's a column what? Column 2. January is a column 2. But if I keep dragging, it's not giving me what I want. So how can I solve this problem, right? What I need to do, because I'm dragging, if I click here, you can see it's also moving. But I don't want it to move. I want that thing to be constant away place. So what I'll do now, for that A7, I have to lock this part. I'll say F4, enter. Right. So I'll now drag from left to right. I can see, right? So I can see that January is column 2, February is column 3, March is column 4, April 5, 6, and so forth. So let's now see how can we now implement this using the VLOOKUP also. I say equals to VLOOKUP, right? My lookup value is Abia over here, right? Comma. My table array, this entire data table here. Can I continue? Comma. My column index number, I'll use the columns formula and I'll say columns. Columns array now should be from year to year, right? That's from states year to year, because I want to get column 2. Close my bracket, comma. I want an exact match rather. I put 0, you can put false. Anyway, I prefer using 0. It's faster than using false for me. Close my bracket, enter, right? So you can see the value over here. So what I can now do now, I will just lock this here, pressing F4, enter. Then I can also do a drag from left to right. Oh, sorry. I was meant to lock the table array. Oh, sorry about that. So I'm going to lock the table array. I'm also going to lock the lookup value also here. Okay, lock this also. Okay, let's say again. So I should work this time around. Awesome. Now it's working. So that's how you manipulate using lookup. So any question? Any question? So I'm done for today. Any question? So if you have a question, can you raise up your hands and I'll answer you guys. Any question? Any question? Should I assume everyone got it? Hello, everyone. If you have any question, you can put in the chat box. Okay, so I guess everyone actually understood it very well. Jide, Tolu, Larry. Okay, so if no question, I'll just show you the next section we'll be having by. So the next session we'll be having is going to be by 6 p.m. So we're having Faith. She'll be taking us on Power Virtual Agent in customer services. So for some of you that might be interested, I'll copy the reservation link and I'll put it to the chat box. Sorry. Reservation, and also put the direct link to the meeting. So I'll copy the direct link to the meeting. Right. Okay. Awesome. So I guess no one has. I guess everyone actually got it. That's mean because I think no, since there's no question, that means everyone actually understood it perfectly well. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen, and I think that's all for today. So our next session will be by